Okay, this video on the other hand, this one might be a long video. I was supposed to write down the topics on this tank I was going to talk about, but due to me being bit for time, I'm like, better late than never, knock out the video now. Just a little backstory, a little context on this mutt colony. It used to be a pure strain, something like a cobra, yellow cobra, or green cobra, something. I used to have a 40-gallon or 39. I used to have the same identical tank as this one above it, with a different guppy colony in it. I'm sorry. Words are they've been beating me up all week. And somehow one of those got in here. As you can see, certain variations in the body of the male guppies. Originally, it only had two of those I'll just say green cobras. It only had two of those green cobras because the third one died. The male died in transit to me. But they both looked pregnant, but they just didn't drop. And it was one day I went to work. I put the video up. I noticed they were in here. And then shortly after, noticed the two Corys that were in a 5-gallon suffering from overheating. I put them in here, medicated the tank before the first batch even dropped. I medicated the 3 females because the male had already died from the green cobra guppies. I medicated them, and then just left them here. I'm like, I'll let them get themselves together. I'm trying to catch some of those hybrid Corys that bred in here, because it's an update about the guppies and the hybrid hybrid Corys and the mutt guppies. Man, this is probably been the most wild tank I've had in quite some time, because this tank literally started with 3 female guppies and 2 Corys. And the Corys that crossbred were a panda, and I think it's called an Agassizi. I don't really know what was a female, what was a male. It was a complete coincidence. Like I said before, I wasn't trying to do it. Like, I wasn't trying to have this turn into a mutt guppy colony. You see that yellow male right there? That's almost exactly how the males used to look. Well, the male that came and the male with them looked. That died. Looked almost, oh, what do you have there? And now it's this monstrosity here. With this tank, I know I say I usually just feed flakes, but you know, I stay with little fish, and with ones that could eat other things, I try to switch it up a bit. I feed them crushed flakes, tuba fix, mysis shrimp, brine shrimp, blood worms. All of this is freeze dried, of course. The only frozen food I feed fish are frozen blood worms. I might go with a frozen brine shrimp every blue moon. Maybe once a year I'll go buy a pack of 12 of those and feed those in about a month and wait for another year and get that. But usually it's freeze dried, uh, tuba fix. I'm gonna feed this now. At first they didn't used to eat this tuba fix until I started, tearing it apart before I put it in there. Maybe a few big chunks. And I noticed the guppies would eat it. Usually it'll just be the platies and the mollies. And when I plop one cube in here, I'll come back and that cube will still be there. Maybe a little bit picked off. But I notice they really get at it when I tear it apart for them. So if you encounter that same problem, maybe you want to tear them apart. Yeah, to be honest, around that time, I honestly forgot about this tank. It didn't have a heater in it, honestly, because there used to be goldfish in this tank. Just I think it was 2 or 3 goldfish I used to have in this tank. No heater, just that overpowered filter in the back there. No sponge filter, and it had like just the, fluorescent light I switched everything up once this thing happened. You know, it was a mistake. I'm actually starting to like this quite a lot. Man, this colony is really taking off. You think you see a lot of babies now, but it was one time in the morning. Honestly, I left the light off for maybe 16 hours or so. Cut it on, and especially in this decoration here. This is up in that hole down there. The baby guppies like to be in that. I was finna vacuum up in there, and when I moved it, just a herd of them came out. And underneath this bridge here is where the parents of the hybrid guppies and some of those, no, not the hybrid guppies, the hybrid cories. And this bridge here, the parents of the hybrid cories and some of the babies like to be underneath there. I'm surprised, you know, with the white background, it's easier to see them, but sometimes throughout the day, you know, the entire family of cories will be just scaling this back wall, and it looks pretty neat, but I can never catch it on camera. Maybe if I'm sitting in the chair over there, and I look from a distance, I can see all of them just scaling this back wall, but seems they never want to do it when I'm recording, so that sucks. Yeah, the water's a little cloudy. Honestly, it's at fault to me and, you know, fish. I kind of overfeed because I have a lot of babies in here. Like I'm pretty sure if I move that decoration, even more will come out. But I kind of like them huddling up in there, kind of like a safe haven. So I'll leave the safe haven alone for now. I honestly water change at least this tank. And the tank above it, I have a 50-gallon now. Above it, it's a community tank. I water change that. Let me see. Oh, ouch. I water change that tank maybe the one above it and this one maybe once a week. But sometimes if I see it's like if it gets a little bit more foggy than this, I'll water change it. But this is bearable for me. Especially with guppies. Like if it was a really sensitive type of fish, I'm like, maybe I should check it out. But they seem to thrive in any condition, to me. I haven't seen production like this in quite some time. Maybe a platy came close to this, but besides that, no. Again, I'm not big on the culling. I have two in here with kind of two females with kind of like deformities, but I just can't put them in some oil or whatever the new trend is. I just rather them live their life. I'm not going to be selling these guys, and if I ever do get to the point of selling them, I'm going to have that strain of that line pretty pure. And these guys will be long gone, so I'll let them live out their life in here. Again, I primarily feed just crushed up flakes. Just a recap of everything I said. A majority of the treats are freeze-dried foods besides frozen bloodworms. To be honest, I feed maybe small feeding, maybe one medium feeding, and then 3 small feedings a day. For almost every tank. When at a medium feeding, sometime don't throughout the day, it's no set. Oh yeah, the morning one has to be the big, like, no. So whenever I remember, hey, put a little bit more in there. And then 3 feedings throughout the rest of the day. Seems to be doing very well for the community tank that's up above it here. But yeah, this tank, the colony of mutt guppies literally started with it was supposed to be 4 guppies, but 3 females. 1 female died within the first week of medication. Other 2 survived. Somehow, after they gave birth, I had a guppy colony above. One of those jumped down here, the ones with the body like this one here, you know, that pinkish type of body. One of those type of guppies jumped down, and I had to jump down because I don't think I transferred it on a plane. I really thought about it. I think it had to jump out of the tank it was in up top and get down here somehow. But I noticed that male, that type of male in here, maybe a week or two after I noticed the babies, and I'm like, oh man, he's in there. And I kind of chucked it up like, then maybe those are his babies. Turns out they weren't. They were all primarily the yellow tails. So I tried to yank him out, and when they gave birth again, it was a bunch of these, but I wasn't paying attention because I'm thinking, okay, crisis averted, still a pure strain. No, not at all. Next time the two females gave birth, it was primarily these guys, the ones with the, yeah, kind of like that. Pretty fish, but not what I was initially trying to go for. But, so I decided I was just I'll keep them in here until there's some regularity in the pattern. It's like, okay, every batch is going to look like this. But I would have loved for to keep that strain there. That was the one I started with. But this is what I have now. Maybe if I would have kept a glass lid on here, maybe, but who knows. This is what I have now. Wow, the hybrid Corys, they really haven't come out. Besides that one time I caught them, I was trying to milk a little bit of time. It's usually they're on it. You know, you see them all every time I look over here and look down at this bottom tank. They're up against that back glass, the white panel, and they're just like I said, it was only 2 Corys, but I'd say it's easily about 12 or 14 in here now. Easily, maybe a few more, but I haven't actually counted them. But when you look and see the school when they get to going, you're like, yeah, it's easier. That's easily 12, 14. But I've been only able to show you 2 of them so far. Like I said, their mom or dad is a panda, and their mom or dad is a Agazizii. You see the pattern? Oh my goodness. I should have did a water change in this video, but I really didn't think I was going to see these guys, because they don't. Oh. You see, kind of that dark banding of the panda pattern, and then the Agazizii striping. And when they were smaller in the previous video, you really couldn't see that. Yeah, they're going back to the hideout. That's probably where they were all this time, not moving there. They're in the hideout. Yeah, these guys, like I said, I had them in this tank. Even with the goldfish, the panda and the Agazizii, the one with I hope I'm saying the name right, the one with the dotted pattern, that Corydora, they were in here with goldfish with no filter. I mean, no heater, and they survived the whole time. As soon as a bud of mine grabbed the goldfish from me to hold on to him, trying to get them back in. Oh, I think they're going back to the guppies. But as soon as that happened, I put a heater in here because I got what I thought was going to be a trio +1 of the guppies. But like I said before, that ended with this. I'll try to keep you guys updated. I was trying to give a nice lapse in between the first update to really see the progress. And if you really looked at that